Hey Revolutionaries, I'm excited to bring you this week's episode with Kevin Lynch, where we're talking traditional Thai massage. But before we get there real quick, just a reminder that the Female Entrepreneur Summit is coming up in Cleveland October 24th, and that's at the Beta Banquet and Conference Center. And if you want to find out more information about it, you can go to contempocleveland.com/FES. And also, the Blockland Solutions Conference is coming up, also in Cleveland, December 1st to the 4th. And for more information about that, you can go to blocklandcleveland.com. And I noticed that a couple more speakers have been announced for it. And one is Alex Tapscott, who is the author of Blockchain Revolution and the co-founder of the Blockchain Research Institute, which I believe is in Toronto, Canada. So really excited to see him speak. And we've got Will McDonough, also founder and CEO of iCash. So more people are being announced daily here, so check the website for more info, and I'll see you there. Okay, so who out there has had a Thai massage before? Anybody? Yeah, I'm listening. I'm waiting for your. Yeah, I can hear your responses. Just go ahead. You can say it out loud. Okay. And if you haven't, I highly encourage you to check it out. I think it can be a great addition to your health and wellness regime, whatever that might be, whatever you do for yourself. And in today's episode with Kevin, I think you're going to learn a little bit more why you might consider it. So Kevin's got a great story, a lot of fun. You know, we first met in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which you'll hear about. I met him in 2 different foreign countries before I ever met him in Cleveland, and he splits his time between Cleveland and Thailand, and now wherever his bodywork customers and clients are taking him in other places around the world, which you'll also hear about. So he's got a great story of how he manages his business and how he got into it. So let's get to the episode.
Welcome to Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, the show that explores reinvention in the digital age as it relates to career, creativity, and technology. Stay tuned for interviews with professionals, entrepreneurs, and creatives that have reimagined success and are making a pivot. If you'd like to listen to the entire back catalog, visit JimJim'sReinventionRevolution.com for instant access. And now, here's your host, Jim.
Hey everybody, hey, this is Jim. Welcome to episode 41 of Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. And I'm talking today with Kevin Lynch, and we're talking traditional Thai massage. So Kevin, welcome to the revolution.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Hey, well, thanks for being here, and I am super excited that we finally connected. Yeah. Because I've been trying to schedule this with you, but probably got like a year if I really think about it. But it's hard to nail you down because you're in and out of town all the time with doing your massage business. So tell people what traditional Thai massage is, first of all. Let's kick it off that way. And then we'll dig into kind of how we met and what you've been doing lately. So go ahead.
First of all, thank you for having me. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, it has.
Traditional Thai massage is a form of bodywork that originated in what is now Thailand. And it is a form of bodywork that is very thorough and includes acupressure of specific energy lines, joint mobilization, facilitated stretching, yoga-like stretches. Mm-hmm. A lot of people call it lazy man's yoga.
Oh, really? I never heard that. Okay.
Yeah. It's a clothed massage, and it's done on the floor on a traditional Thai mat or a futon-like mat. And it's very, very thorough, very opening in a lot of different ways. I believe it affects not just the physical aspect of the client, but also the mental layer, the emotional, the energetic, and with some people, the spiritual layer. So it's a very profound form of bodywork. I kind of like to call it the buffet of bodywork.
The buffet of bodywork. I like that phrase.
Bodywork.
Okay.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I gotcha.
Parts of it come from Ayurvedic or India Ayurvedic medicine, and parts of it also come from traditional Chinese medicine. So the Thai took the Chinese twist and the Indian influences and put their own understanding of body work and massage and healing, and kind of came up with this layer cake or this buffet of body work.
Okay. And that's opposed to, maybe you can explain, to Swedish massage, which many listeners might be more familiar with, let's say, if you're not in the Asian region. which is different. That's kind of the masseuse is standing up on this table. Go ahead and explain what the difference is.
Well, a masseuse is female and a masseur is male.
Masseur, sorry, I don't even know the terms.
well,
that's why you're here, Kevin.
I'm educating you on this. Some people call me a masseuse, and I say, well, I'm not quite female, so unless I sound this way. Well, this is all part of the education process.
Well, thank you. I never knew that. This is good.
All right. So in the West, people think a massage is more of, as you said, maybe Swedish massage or table massage,
right?
Where it's maybe even more of a spa setting or a sports massage type setting.
Okay.
So people, are used to maybe removing their clothing down to their underwear, getting on a table underneath a sheet,
right?
And having more of a massage where the therapist is applying some sort of oil or cream or lotion and doing more flowing, deeper strokes, maybe less stretching,
right?
Kind of more of a an massage, or as we say in the business, maybe more of a fluff and buff kind of massage. So again, Thai massage is much different in the sense that it's done on a mat on the floor. You're clothed as a recipient. So people can sometimes be more comfortable with that just because a lot of people in the West are very self-conscious of their physical being and how they look, which could be a result of our society and how we look at other people. So there's quite a big difference between the two.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to kind of explain it, because before I was familiar with it, I had no idea really what it was. I hadn't had massages much, but I remember, going back, I'm trying to think what years. I think it was 2002. So I took a short excursion to Thailand in 2002 to visit my friend Ed, which we'll talk about in a second here. Now that you know my friend Ed as well. And at that time, he had just moved to Thailand. He had been there for about a year. And this is Ed Knuth, and he's actually on a previous episode of the podcast. So people that are out there listening, if you want to find that episode, check it out, Ed Knuth. But he was living there in Thailand. He moved there for a job, so I went to visit him, just had some time off. It was after 9/11, and everybody got laid off, so I didn't have much to do at that point. Anyways, I went over there, and my first experience of a Thai massage, it was like a 2-hour session. He like hooked me up. He's like, "Here's where we're going. I know the deal over here," and it was great. It was like maybe $10 or $15. The prices are crazy over there.
Yeah,
and
you paid
it was
too much.
Yeah, exactly.
You paid too much.
Exactly. And it was an amazing experience. It was really far out to me, because it really was, as you described it, kind of like the lazy man's yoga in a way. Like I was being massaged, but stretched and like climbed on, and it was just, it's hard to describe if you've never had a Thai massage before. But what an amazing experience. And when you walk out of there, it's like you feel like you're on cloud 9, because you're so relaxed and just centered, and everything just feels a little bit better, because helps your circulation, obviously, and those kind of things. So
opens a lot of energy too.
Yeah.
Releases a lot of stored energy in the body. So again, not just working on the physical layer, but the energetic layer that makes up us as human beings, So we just think of things more physical and mentally connected, but yet there's these energy pathways that are described not just in Ayurvedic medicine, but also in traditional Chinese medicine, and as well, again, in Thai medicine.
I see. So speaking of the Thai part, you're not from Thailand, okay? You're from Cleveland originally, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so you're like an American dude. How did you discover Thai massage, or massage in general? How did you get into it? What was your pathway or entryway?
Massage in general started when I was about 8 years old. I had an inclination to just want to help people, and at the time I was spending a lot of time with my grandmother and her old lady poker friends, and on one occasion one of her friends was complaining about a sore neck, and I felt compelled to go up to her and start massaging her neck, and 5 minutes later she felt better and handed me a $5 bill, and that was 1987, and I was 8 years old, and
wow.
I felt pretty rich.
Yeah, man. You're a baller by then.
Yeah,
already.
well, and I felt if I could do that for her, I could do it for anybody. So when I was 10 years old, I made a menu of massage services.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
And to this day, I still have that menu. My mother kept it. And on my 30th birthday, and for those that don't know, I'm 40 now, but on my 30th birthday, she gave me that massage menu and said to me, I knew one day that this would be a reminder to you that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Wow.
So throughout high school, I always bought books and was self-teaching myself massage. It was, a great way to meet girls in high school. I give massages.
Yeah, that can't hurt for
Strike
sure.
that from the conversation. But I was, teaching myself and always been interested and knew I wanted to help people, but was also interested in the human body. And growing up, I would do it for my family and friends, and I eventually went and got my associate's degree in science and was going to become a registered nurse. And I decided that I didn't want to spend my life in a hospital or around that setting.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, so I ended up doing construction for a couple of years, and I had a friend say to me, why don't you stop breaking your back and start fixing them? And that's what compelled me to go to massage therapy school. And that was in 2002, and I successfully finished massage therapy school, got my medical board license, and was on my way. So
yeah, cool.
The first several years, it was working around a table, doing more of what we think of as Swedish or table or Western massage. I worked with a lot of big people. I worked with professional athletes, professional football players, and was exerting a lot of effort and energy and finding myself exhausted and thinking about better ways of being effective with my body work without killing myself.
Without being so intense.
Yeah. So
is this the kind of, what style would you say you learned in school? Like, did they expose you to many different styles, or they just concentrated on sort of like a more Swedish sort of table massage style, or what would you say?
The school that I went to, I thought provided me with a well-rounded education. Of course, we learned anatomy and physiology,
right.
and we learned about muscles and all the different systems of the body, which you don't get necessarily in a training in Thailand.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a difference there. It's obviously a more medical centered education, because you are getting, eventually you are taking a test with the medical board and hoping to pass the test to get your license to do therapeutic body work. So it was a very well-rounded education, and we were exposed to other modalities of body work, but not Thai massage.
I see.
And not so much stretching, but a lot of what I was doing in school and even in my practicals, where we took people off the street that would come to the school to get massaged, I was already intuitively doing a lot of this Thai body work, or the stretching, and even after getting my medical board license and working with athletes and more active people, I was stretching them on the table just intuitively, which eventually, after learning Thai massage, I realized in a way I was doing Thai massage on the table without even knowing it. So it's kind of a natural transition.
Right. Oh, interesting. So you get out of school and you get some first jobs. Were you working, for you said for athletes and such, were you working on your own yet, or you were just working for other organizations?
It started with doing some work in a spa, which is kind of a common place that people out of massage therapy school might go to. So I did the spa thing and worked in a couple different spas, and eventually you realize, like, I'm putting in all this work and only getting 50 or 60% of what I'm bringing in monetarily. And that kind of led me to a place here in Cleveland called the Schvitz, which is a very old school, old style, European kind of style bathhouse that's been around since 1927. And I got to meet a lot of people through there, and with that is how I kind of it became a stepping stone to working with with some athletes and that through some people I knew through the Schvitz, and the Schvitz was a seasonal thing. So I only did that 7 months of the year, which gave me the opportunity to explore some other possible avenues or gigs for doing massage.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. It was seasonal at that point.
Yeah.
So explain a little bit more about the Schvitz, because people might know that word. I didn't know what that word means exactly, but now I do because I've been there.
Well, the actual word Schvitz is a Yiddish word that means to sweat.
Right.
And so the Schvitz here in Cleveland has been around since 1927, and it's kind of been a long-kept secret, but not. People know of it or have heard about it. You know, those that have been there, of course, know the Schvitz. But this was a place that I had been a customer of or a patron of for some years, and after finishing massage therapy school, they offered me a gig there doing.
So you knew about it before you were even licensed?
Yeah, I was going there. I was going there to
later.
sauna and sweat and detox and hang out and socialize and absorb the camaraderie that is the Schvitz. And,
right. So they have a big sauna downstairs. Like, just kind of describe that a little bit for people.
It's the sauna's original 1927. It is a big room with bleacher type seating and big rocks that are heated with natural gas, and when you turn the gas off and throw hot water on the rocks, it releases a very dry steam, about 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And you basically you schwitz, you sweat,
right.
And then when you get too hot, you can go do a cold plunge, which is outside of the steam room, which is a cold pool, and this is just good old classic hydrotherapy using water in a therapeutic setting, where you're steaming, you're detoxing, you're vasodilating, and you're detoxing the bloodstream, and then of course jumping in the cold pool, you're vasoconstricting the blood vessels and sending all this detox blood back through the circulatory system and cleansing the body. And this is a practice that's been around for hundreds of years, people using water to sweat, to detox. So the Schvitz is a very therapeutic, can be a very therapeutic experience for people.
It is. It was for me for sure. And it's just so people understand, this is not like the little steam rooms you find in your average spa or gym around town. It's much bigger, it's more intense. It's got this big cold plunge, and it's very old school too. So it's like you just go down in the basement, and it's not fancy at all, but it really gets the job done, and it's just a fun, cool environment too to go check out. And of course you can eat and have food there and such. But so you get connected to the Schvitz, and you're working there, and now this gives you some time off to start maybe exploring, maybe thinking about, hey, maybe I'll start my own business or take some gigs on the side to figure out, kind of keep exploring, your kind of concept of where you want to go with body work. So what was going on during those years? Like, when did you discover kind of the Thai style that you thought you might want to get into?
Well, working at the Schvitz was kind of the eye opener for me that, I didn't really want to work for anyone else, working in the spas and working for different entities where they're taking, 40 to 50% of what you're doing. And the Schvitz did take a percentage, but it was very fair.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of great opportunity there to do a lot of work and get a lot of practice.
Sure.
And the fact that it was 7 months of the year gave me time to search out other gigs, and I kind of realized that I wanted to kind of do things on my own and kind of be my own, sole proprietor.
Right.
So I ended up meeting a man that had a business with the Browns and with athletes and that, and I ended up getting a contract with him, which is how I ended up starting to work with some bigger people and athletes and this kind of thing. And
gotcha.
Of course, he did take a percentage, but again, it was very fair. But it also exposed me to a whole different kind of client or body work that I could do for people. So at this point, I'm working on this like melting pot of people between the Schvitz and these athletes and that, but over time of working at the Schvitz, working on all these big men and working on all these athletes, again, big men, I started to get physically burnt out.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, there's got to be a better way to be effective with body work without killing myself, trying to...
Yeah, because you were working construction trying to get out of killing yourself with your killing your body, right?
Right,
so
right. And here I am again,
Right.
trying to manipulate like pieces of mahogany as far as these pro athletes go.
Right.
Their muscles are so solid.
Right.
It's kind of almost like doing woodwork,
Right,
but my
exactly.
hands are the tools.
Right.
So I had a friend who studied Thai massage in Thailand, and he came back to the States, and he said, you got to come and get a Thai massage from me and try this. I went to his office, and he did about a 90-minute Thai session, and I came out of there like oh,
Right.
like,
Right.
this is
Right.
the answer
This
to
is the
everything I've been looking for. So
Oh.
that's kind of where it's
Did
started.
it dawn on you right then that's like, wow, this was, even though the massage was amazing, you realized how different it was just from the therapist point of view, right? Did you realize both right at that time? Like you walked out, you're like, wait, this was amazing, and you didn't have to burn as much energy, or you burned energy in a different way, where it'd be less intense on you as the therapist, right?
At first it was definitely, this was amazing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was kind of what I've been looking for, working on a mat like this, having the leverage as a practitioner or a therapist to be able to really push, limbs to stretch them and this kind of thing.
Okay.
Where before I'm working around these stationary tables that couldn't go up or down, and you get a 350-pound lineman on the table, and now it's another foot and a half, 2 feet
Right.
from the ground,
Right.
and I'm all of 5'9" and a half, trying to really get deep on
Hard
this.
to adjust, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see.
and
I
I
see what
couldn't
you're
get the
saying.
leverage and the depth of the work that I needed. So, to experience the Thai massage and realize, like, wow, you can really put a lot of pressure and use a lot of strength because of the leverage of working on a mat. That was part of the
Right, I see.
experience for me. Not only did how I felt was amazing, and so many things changed in that massage session inside of me, not just physically, but again mentally,
Yeah, just open some things up.
energetically.
Yeah.
And I'm making these connections with my body from my foot being pressed on a certain way, feeling these openings in like my shoulder or my back, and
Right.
making these connections, and like, wow, this is really, really deep stuff. So that's kind of what, just the experience of the massage, but then realizing how the practitioner was doing it and how much he could get out of very little effort was pretty phenomenal. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so your kind of your mind gets blown. You have this wild experience after this first massage. When do you decide to go all in and say, all right, I got to go to Thailand. I'm going to dive into this training. Like, I want to do this.
Well, after that experience, I went out right away and bought a book called the Encyclopedia of Thai Massage that was written by who eventually became a teacher of mine, C. Pierce Salguero,
Oh, wow.
who is now a PhD, but he spent 10 years in Thailand working with one of the more prominent Thai teachers. And I went out and I bought that book and started practicing on people. Going
Okay.
through the book, I grabbed my dad. I think he was the first guy I worked on. I'm paging through the book and kind of step by step going through the book as I'm working on him, and I'm realizing, like, wait a minute, I've been doing these stretches already on people on a table. It's just I'm doing it on a mat. So
Right.
it kind of came to me, and then I started looking around Cleveland here, and I met a woman who had studied with Pierce already.
Oh, really? Okay.
And she was here in Cleveland practicing Thai massage, and I reached out to her, and we ended up connecting, and we ended up trading some massage, and turned out that she taught massage. So
Oh, okay.
I started learning some from her and working with her, and then eventually connecting with Pierce and doing some trainings with Pierce, and her name was Sarah.
Okay.
And Yeah, that's kind of where it all started. That
Right.
was kind of the beginning of where I'm at now.
I see.
Yeah.
So you start doing that, you get into it, you're like, wow, this is wild, really opens up some things in your mind, and it really sort of, things are kind of coming together. It's like, aha, here's what I was searching for, and it's working on all levels for you personally, but also for your clients, and getting you further into the full kind of 360 aspect of massage and wellness. When do you first go to Thailand?
So after 2 years of really putting a lot of effort into educating myself on Thai massage, doing, I think at that point I was up to about like 80 hours of actual Thai massage training. Yeah. And many hours of practice as well of actual Thai style massage on a mat on the floor. I decided that in 2012, it was time to go to the source.
Right.
And to be honest, the first trip was not as much to go and learn more about Thai massage. It was more to go and actually see Thailand and participate in some of the more spiritual practices of Thai massage, because there are spiritual practices that go hand in hand with Thai massage, such as some mantra and some more ceremonial chanting to pay respect to the teachers of Thai massage that have come before, and it was more of a cultural trip than it was a cultural education trip than it was a massage educational trip.
Right.
So the first trip, again, was more really getting the
You want to see what this is all about.
Yeah,
you're so
Thai experience.
appreciative of this thing you found, right? That you're like, I got to visit the country. I got to see what the culture's like. I want to meet some of these people, right? And just
pretty much,
dig into
pretty
it, right?
much nailed
that makes
it,
total
yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Without being burdened necessarily of just going to take a class. You're just like, I need to experience this.
Right,
so, cool.
Right. And that's what I did. And we traveled around. We started in Bangkok and moved our way up north and eventually ending up in Chiang Mai, which is where my Thai home is now based out of, and where most of my education in Thai massage comes from, the north or Chiang Mai. So, it was one of those experiences where it was the first time I was off the continent, off of North America. I'd been to Canada and Mexico, but nothing like Thailand.
Right. Exactly.
And to show up there, it was sensory overload.
Right.
To see the way of life, it really, it opened my eyes to how other parts of the world live, and that the way that I was raised or the way that I thought about life in the West or how life should be just got completely flipped around by seeing how people in Southeast Asia lived, in this case, Thailand. So,
for sure. Yeah, that was, I think anyone who visits Thailand or that area has that same abrupt experience, if you're coming from the U.S., for example, where you're just like, wow, life is so different, and it's just so like, there's, especially in Thailand, I found, for me anyways, it's just sort of a nice relaxed place. Everybody's a little bit happier. Everybody's a little more kind of sees life in a simpler point of view in a way, which is really refreshing, versus like the complexity and the politics and everything that we get here as America, because it's a big first world nation and it's a democracy, and that means something to everybody that that you have to respond to, I think. But in these other countries, it's really different. So okay, so you get over there, and now kind of fast forward a few years, you've been over there training. You start to go back and forth a lot. So tell people kind of what your modus operandi is these days in terms of spending time in Thailand, spending time in the United States, because this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. You have such an interesting kind of outlook now that you're this entrepreneur. You have your own massage business called Traditional Thai Massage Cleveland, right?
Correct.
Okay. And it's based here in Cleveland, but you are basically around the world. I mean, I can't keep up with you with what's going on. You're always in Thailand. You're always back here, but you pop up in, Japan, or pop up in Germany or whatever, because you have clients around the world now. How do you split your time, and how do you manage it all?
That was a lot of questions there.
Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of questions because I'm curious about it,
To come up to speed here, since that first trip in 2012, I went back again to start learning, and had been going back and forth and studied in many different schools and many different modalities, not just, say Thai massage, but I also learned abdominal massage, which is called Chini Seng.
Okay.
I've also studied Tok Sen, which is using wooden tools to tap different parts of the body to get muscle release. I've studied herbal compress, how to take indigenous Thai herbs that are used for pain relief and anti-inflammatory purposes and not just make them, but apply them to the body. So this has been over the course of 4 or 5 years, and about 2.5 years ago, I decided I spend so much time here and I love the culture so much. The food's pretty good too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I decided to buy a home there and use it as a place to, I don't want to say escape, but there has to be a good live-work balance. And I exert a lot of myself physically and energetically with my clients, and I give it my all. This is my life. Massage isn't work for me. I don't go to work every day. I go to life every day. That's the difference. And because of that, I give it my all to my clients, and I feel that it's important for me to take time to step away and recharge my own batteries. So with that being said, in my travels in Thailand, I've met a lot of other people from different places. And when somebody presents an opportunity to come to their country and stay with them, I take them up on it.
Yeah, right. Why not?
So, I found a man in Germany who teaches flying massage, Tobias Frank, and I was really interested in this. So I went there and visited him, and I met a lot of really awesome yogis and that through them, and kind of start expanding my boundaries throughout Europe and that, and just going to Thailand and spending time in a lot of other countries in that part of the world. I really love to travel and see different cultures and different ways of life. And so with that, over the years, I've been, trying to expand my horizons with seeing different parts of the world. And a few years ago, I got connected with the orchestra here in Cleveland, and I've been fortunate enough to do some traveling with them, and that's how I ended up, in Europe on tour with them, and again in Tokyo, Japan. So having some clients here in Cleveland has allowed me to travel the world.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Then in 2014, I got my National Certification Board license to be a continuing education provider. So I created my own routine and my own book of Thai massage, and started teaching 40-hour Thai massage courses. And I've been using those courses, or not taking those courses and setting them up to teach people all over, here in Cleveland, but I have co-taught a course in Germany, and I'm looking to expand my horizons.
Okay,
so,
just with all the other connections you're making, right? Just those opportunities, I'm sure, will come, right?
Yeah, they already are. They're already in the works. So I was able to last year. I met some really amazing people in Germany, from Switzerland. Some yogi people, and I was there in Switzerland in March of this past year and did Thai massages for a whole group of yogis, and they absolutely loved it. And the one woman owns a yoga studio there in Switzerland outside of Zurich, and is going to have me back this summer to teach a Thai massage training.
Oh wow!
Because there's a lot of interest in it in that part of the world. So, inventing myself not just as a massage therapist, but then eventually as a teacher, it has helped me to expand my boundaries with getting Thai massage out, to get myself to other places teaching and doing Thai massage.
Right. Well, yeah, I think it's so interesting that you've had this, journey kind of on the entrepreneurial side, first, where it's like, hey, I want to kind of run my own business and have my own clients. And now that you've been doing it, you're realizing other ways that you can start expanding now, because you get these other opportunities that just kind of naturally grow out of it. So I think that's always a challenge for someone that when you're confronted with these opportunities, to continue growing or to continue reinventing yourself, seeing yourself differently, where it's like, I thought I was just a massage guy, or I was just going to have clients, or, I don't think you maybe at the get envisioned that you'd be teaching international Thai training somewhere in Europe,
No,
right?
No,
I mean, that's a pretty interesting story,
I mean, I knew that one thing I said to myself at the beginning of my massage career was, I hope one day that I can get this way of life doing massage to get me to travel around the world, to see other things and other places and meet interesting people. So it, maybe it was I was already putting it in my mind, and kind of already subconsciously working towards it.
Yeah,
because
right.
That's what I wanted to happen. So, it's all been part of the process. I've been fortunate over the years. I've never advertised. I've never, it's all been word of mouth.
basically,
Yeah.
right?
And it all kind of started at the beginning with just doing quality work, really having a passion for the body work, for providing sessions for people to help them, to heal them, to fix their problems,
Right.
And to educate them along the way, not just with a Thai training, but when I'm working on somebody and I come to an area of the body, well, the reason this is this way is because this, and this is how it all works, and this is why. And people say, oh, aha, that makes sense. And because I'm educating them, they're making the mind-body connection, and the body's a self-healing mechanism, but you have to teach it how. So my goal is to help my clients understand why they're feeling what they're feeling, and then to be able to take that with them and keep their car finely tuned on their own. So that's been part of my success. Is it's not just giving a quality bodywork session, but it's applying the passion for it and the education. It's giving the education to the people so that they can take it with them and continue to help themselves outside of the session that we have together. And that's where a lot of my success has come from. And that's the reason I think I've never advertised and it's all by referral, is because my work speaks for itself.
Right.
And the results speak for themselves. And that is, I would say, probably the primary reason I'm at where I'm at now with my practice.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, guaranteed. I mean, when you have that breadth and depth, I mean, and then when you compare it to maybe some of the other folks that are out there, it's like, I could see why everyone wants to come back to you. Like, for example, I just turned you on to a mutual friend of ours now. This friend of my buddies I just got introduced to, his name is Sean. He's originally from Singapore. He came in and had a massage from you, and his feedback just from me, I don't know if I told you this or not, but he was just like, wow, like, this guy knows what he's doing. He's very passionate. He was really like, because I knew him, like, dude, just
you can't see on the podcast, but
I'm
blushing.
Just check him out, man.
Blushing
and this
right
guy's
now.
from Singapore. He knows, he knows what
that's
that type of massage is all about. Like, he knows what he's expecting. He's trying to find something here in Cleveland because he's local at the Cleveland Clinic now. So So the word of mouth is still getting around. Let me just put it that way.
I appreciate it, of course, and regardless of where somebody comes from. As far as coming to me, as long as they're sincere about wanting to take care of themselves and really come for a really, therapeutic bodywork session, I'm appreciative of anybody who comes to me, and I don't discriminate. I will take anybody that's sincerely interested in getting and experiencing, really good bodywork. So, I appreciate when people refer, and of course I appreciate when people sing the praises, but it all comes from my heart. It really does.
Right, exactly. Well, I think it's so important to hear this message of, body work and wellness. And, one of the reasons, of course, that I wanted to have you on was, as we're into this sort of world of technology that's swirling around us all the time, it's just more important these days to take the personal responsibility, I think, for our own health and wellness. Like, you gotta unplug sometimes. You gotta relax. You gotta, go work out. You got to, get a massage. Just try to, meditate a little bit or whatever, really kind of bring the health and wellness into your life a little bit more, because you got to balance out this whole technology thing. So speaking of technology, I want to touch on it a little bit, because the reason we got connected in the first place was really through technology. So I wanted you to tell the story of how I first met you, because you were a mutual friend of mine here in Cleveland, but I didn't meet you in Cleveland. So where did I meet you?
You met me in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Yeah, for the first time.
Which
is kind of wild, right?
We live about 15 miles away in Cleveland, but it took almost 10,000 miles apart to first meet. Yes.
Right. So that was back in 2016, if you've been listening to the podcast, I think I mentioned it once or twice before. That's when I kind of started, my clients were kind of just not paying me, kind of pissing me off. I'm like, I needed to escape and change my life up a little bit. And so I dove in. I went back to visit Ed in Thailand, and I stayed for a month. And I didn't even know what Chiang Mai was at that point. And Ed just mentioned, hey, let's go to Chiang Mai, which is about an hour plane ride north of Bangkok. And I'm like, oh, sure, whatever that is, so let's go, And it just so happens that we had connected on Facebook. And you were like, well, get in touch when you're up there. I didn't even know that I was going to Chiang Mai, but I found out I was going to do that. So we were messaging each other at that point. And then I was in Chiang Mai, I think it was, and we were trying to figure out how to get connected. And then my phone rang. And I was like, why is my phone ringing? But it's on Facebook. I was kind of confused. And I was like, oh, I didn't know at this point that you could call through the app, which I don't know if everyone out there knows you can do that. Some people know, some people don't, I think still. But this was a little bit, a couple of years ago now, so it was still a little bit early, I think, for this technology. But I thought that was kind of mind-blowing, that traveled all the way around the world. I don't even know this guy. Somehow he's able to call me directly using this app with technology, and that's how we got connected. And we met for the first time. And then we met for a second time in Cambodia. Yes. Remember that?
Siem Reap.
Yes, Siem Reap. So
home of Angkor Wat.
Right. Yeah. So because when I met you in Chiang Mai, I think it was we're leaving in 2 days to go to Siem Reap, and I'm like, oh, I think I have that on my schedule. It's one of the places I wanted to go, but I wasn't going for another 4 or 5 days or something.
We met at the Red Piano.
That's right.
Siem Reap.
That's right. So it's kind of fun.
The friend from Cleveland that connected us is a piano player. So
that's right.
The irony.
That's right. Harry B. We should give him a little shout out.
Harry B.
Shout out to Harry. So, yeah, it's really kind of funny where it was all of a sudden it's, you're traveling, and then I'm in the middle of Cambodia by myself. I went by myself because Ed couldn't go. And, but then I had a friend there, so that was cool once we met there.
Yep.
And that was really fun. And it was hot. Oh, my God, it was hot. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because I went to go see the temples, I think the next day after we met, and it was just blistering hot, man. It was just wow. It was 10 degrees hotter than Thailand.
Yeah, and I think at the time it was the winter months here.
Yeah, it was February.
Probably. Yeah, because that's a time of the year that I'm usually in Thailand.
Yeah.
I have to escape these Cleveland winters.
Yeah, me too.
In my ripe old age of 40. My bones can't take the cold anymore. No.
Exactly. Well, I'll always remember that, because that was such a unique way to meet somebody, and just makes me think about how the world's changing and how different it is, and how maybe more difficult that would have been to connect with someone like that years ago, before smartphones and all this kind of stuff, and Wi-Fi and all these kinds of things. So, we got a few minutes left before we get out of here, but there's always a couple of questions that I like to ask people that come on the podcast, and one of them is related to technology, and that is, now that you're splitting your time between many places, here in Southeast Asia and then wherever your opportunities take you, how do you see the role of technology playing in your life? Is it obviously it's enabled your business, or enabled you to kind of live this different kind of lifestyle, very transient sort of lifestyle these days, but efficiently and profitably, not just being, maybe years ago you'd be kind of like a vagrant trying to travel around doing all these kind of things. Now you can actually run a business doing it. But is there something that you struggle with, or that stands out that kind of weirds you out, or you just see opportunities with it? What are your thoughts?
I've never been a real technologically advanced person.
Okay.
I actually just recently bought a brand new MacBook because my old one was getting really slow, and I don't use it for much other than the email, internet, booking flights and hotels and these kinds of things. miraculously somehow managed to do like PowerPoints for my presentations for Thai massage. But fortunately, Apple makes that fairly dummy proof. But, I use technology for what I need to use it for, and I don't really overuse it in the sense that I'm not one to spend more than 2 hours in front of a computer screen before I feel like it's affecting my well-being.
I see.
And so technology is a double-edged sword. There's a lot of good that comes out of it, but there's also can be a lot where people get absorbed by it. They get absorbed by social media and what is important. Well, pop culture to me isn't important, and what I see in social media that's pop culture isn't important, but we also need technology to see what's going on in the world as well. Fortunately, I don't need technology for a booking system for my clients, because everybody just texts me directly or messages me directly. So, but at the same time, having my technology in Thailand, to be able to connect with people and not even have necessarily like a data plan. I don't have my phone set for international travel. Everywhere you go anymore, there's Wi-Fi and you connect. And
I was just going to ask you that. Do you have a second phone for Thailand or anything like that?
No. You can go and get a SIM card put in your existing phone once you get there to have data. But everywhere you go, almost in the world, there's Wi-Fi these days. And if you get into a remote area, whether it be in Thailand or Cambodia or Laos, and you can't use your cell phone, well, then you probably don't need it, right?
Right.
So I think there's you have to find balance. You have to find balance with technology. There's so many ways that I use technology where it serves me well. I mean, of course, taking credit cards anymore, using a credit card processing system is very,
what do you use for that for your clients?
Right now I just use Square Reader.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I gotcha.
But anymore now with Venmo, and actually there's a really great cash app that just was created called Masseur, Mezu. And it's a great app for transferring money, from client to practitioner or friend to friend, just like a Venmo. And
that works internationally, right? Because you have different clients coming from different places, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. So, technologies can be great as long as you don't abuse it. And I think it's just, you have to find a live-work balance, with your life and with your work. You have to find a live technology balance, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
I try not to let it absorb me, and I can't sit in front of a computer screen for too long because I'm more of a hands-on kind of guy.
Literally, right?
Yeah. Well, and I believe that it's important. I shouldn't say social, but more interpersonal communication is necessary. As I'm looking across the table at you right now and having this conversation, it's moments like this that are absolutely necessary for a healthy existence, whether it be in our society here in the West or the East or wherever in the world. We need to meet with people face to face and have face to face conversations, because we know how much can get distorted or diluted in a text message or an email, where people don't see other people's emotions. So being a massage therapist and being more intimate and close to people on a regular basis, I'm more compelled to go that route, to talk to people and keep my texting and my emailing more to a minimal. So, for me, it's not difficult to kind of put technology aside and just talk to people face to face. And I also believe too that, as one of my favorite Vietnamese monk says, the only moment available to us is the present moment. And with that moment is the door to all other moments. And what I mean by that is sometimes it's best just to be in the moment with the sounds or the people or the food or the smells, and just not even think about, what's on that phone, what's waiting for you, because a lot of times it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
You know, that moment is what matters the most.
Right.
So, you know, I hope that answers the question. I'm you know, hard to like make a direct point, but, you know, again, technology, you know, if you want to invest in stocks or cryptocurrency, you're going to need,
Right.
you know, you're going to need technology,
Right,
you know,
right,
so
sure.
and that can be a good thing, you know, but again, a lot of things get distorted with technology or through technology. So
Right.
I'm not a big fan of like the instant, you know, instant news and like we know exactly what's going on
Right.
as soon as it's going on. And that can be a good thing, but then again, it can be a bad thing.
Right.
And I'm sure we've all experienced that in our lives.
Well, you've I think your work style and just the type of work that you're doing, you've got, I think, a nice built-in way to keep this balance for yourself. You know, like when you're working with clients, obviously you're not on technology, right? You know, you just have built-in work time of your day, where if you're working an office job or doing something like that, you might have to spend all day on the computer or all day looking at your phone or whatever, all day on the phone. So that's kind of probably why this balance is easier for you and you're focused on it. So that's cool. I like that. Answer. As you're going along and seeing like the different opportunities come along, how do you keep your mind open to the different opportunities? How do you keep your mind open to reinvention as you're moving along here? As you've seen, like now that you're this international bodywork known person that is creating, you know, educational curriculum around the world now. How do you keep your mind open to those reinventions as time moves on?
It's not really difficult for me because I've always been an open-minded person. You know, I've always kind of been, you know, and my mom and dad will tell you, I've always been the kid like, where are we going? I don't care where we're going. I just want to go. Take me with you. You know, so right? I you know, in a way, it's just who I am. My mind's always open. I'm a believer that, you know, staying in one place for too long, you know, isn't necessarily, I don't want to say an unhealthy thing. It's just, you know, I like to see different things and I like to see how different parts of the world work and that. So to be open-minded is very easy for me. And I'm actually, quite honestly, I'm always waiting for the next opportunity to go somewhere different. You know, like I said, if somebody says, hey, you know, come visit me in Santiago, Chile. Okay, well, I will. If you say, come visit me, I will come visit you. So
you're going to show up. Right?
Yeah, because you gave me the opportunity and my mind's open to it.
Right.
You know, and I also, again, believe in moments and that things happen in those moments that are happening for a reason and could be signs to you know, make a move and
right.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's not a promise. So it's kind of like right about now and, you know, keeping the mind open for now. But not everybody has this opportunity, you know, and not everybody's created this lifestyle for themselves. And it may not work for them. So it's not always easy to keep your mind open, you know.
Right.
So
it is a challenge. And sometimes you get really, you know, dialed in on one career path or just one way of life. And, you know, sometimes you can stay in a rut or these days, the way the world's changing so quickly in terms of just the business models and technologies, it can really, you know, throw a few blind spots really right at you that, you know, you might get steamrolled by something if you just don't see it coming. Yeah. Like, you know, your job's changing or technology's changing. And in thinking about that, now that you're living this, you know, completely different lifestyle that you maybe wouldn't have imagined when you were, you know, 8 years old, just writing down your list of massage ideas or whatever. How do you, maybe you can share with us a reinvention revelation, something you wouldn't have expected or was unknown to you, or something that really surprised you about, you know, your experiences with getting into body work and traveling the world with it now.
It's all been a big kind of surprise, eye opener. You know, it's definitely changed my perspective as far as everywhere, as we say in Thailand, same but different. You know, when I first started going to Thailand, I'm like, this place is amazing. It's great. It's like paradise. And I want to escape to here all the time. And like, as I said, escape.
Right.
Like, what am I escaping from?
Right.
So
why do you need to escape? Right.
And then I'm there and it's like, wow, this place is amazing. But then I start meeting a lot of Thai people and they want to come escape. They want to escape to the U.S.
Right.
It's like, well, what are you escaping from? You're escaping from paradise. And,
Right.
you know,
It's all in your perspective.
but then you realize the grass is always greener. No matter where you go, everything is the same. It's just different where you go.
Right.
So there's corruption here, there's corruption there. There's sick people here, there's sick people there. There's all the same things are happening in all parts of the world. And it's how you perceive it and it's how you deal with it that makes it who you are. So that surprised me.
Okay.
Seeing that things really are, you know, we all bleed red at the end of the day. Every one of us. It doesn't matter what color your skin is or where you come from.
Right.
We all go through the same gamut of emotions as a human being. We all bleed the same color. Therefore, we're all no different. It's just where we come from and the cultures and the societies we're brought up in or the ideologies that make us who we are. So in traveling, what surprised me is you see the same people everywhere you go. They just look different and they act different and they believe different because this is how they were brought up. So I would say that's probably like been a big surprise to me, is that you realize the world is really all the same. It's just different.
Yeah, I love that phrase, same but different. And I know that phrase because I've been to Thailand and you hear people say that. You hear them say same all the time, you know, and then same but different. Sometimes you see T-shirts over there and stuff like that with it on there. But I never really crystallized until you just said it the way you said it, what that really means. That's great. Same but different. So I'll never forget that now. That's cool.
It's the same when I do a massage session. You know, I could see the same client twice in a week. But I never do the same massage twice because where that person comes to me at on Saturday could be different the following Thursday. So depending what's gone on in the last 3 days.
Right.
So I'm fortunate that over the years with all the different education and my tool belt being so vast, you know, I can pull different tools out to make things different all the time. But it's really, I'm trying to achieve the same thing with the body work. So every session is same, but different, right? So it translates in everything really in life, you know? So, and just a point I want to make too about myself and what I believe is that you have to really think about what matters the most to you and then put your energy and your effort into that. And in my experience, what matters the most are the things we can't replace in life, especially your family and your friends, which are just family that we choose.
Right.
You know, so cars can be replaced, houses, money comes and goes.
Right.
It's those moments that, you know, again, that lead to the next moment and putting yourself in that moment, which will keep your mind open, which will allow you to constantly be reinventing, you know, who you are or what you're doing, you know. And I always say, as soon as you think you know it all or you can't learn more, you might as well just pack it in and die.
Right. You finished the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so for me, my mind's always open to learning more, not just about body work, but about cultures and food and travel and people's occupations. And I've learned so much just from working with such a vast array of clients from different, I mean, part of who I've become is through what I've learned from my clients who do all these different jobs. And, you know, some people work extremely interesting jobs, and some people work jobs that we might look at like, well, that's not too much fun. But you realize, well, that's not something that you might want to do, but you learn from that person that, you know, that job does exist and that there are people out there with, you know, jobs that create a certain mentality or mindset that I learn from. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it keeps you so energized when you're continually learning. I mean, that's the zone I like to keep myself in, and that's one of the reasons why I do the podcast. I get to talk to people like you, and I get to learn from people like you, which is awesome. So, Kevin, it's been great to have you here.
Thank you.
And I love that, like ending on that note of how to keep your reinventing yourself by keeping your mind open
and your heart
and your heart.
Compassion is a big characteristic trait for me, at least, to stay kind of spiritual, and also just to again look at everybody like we're equal. We all bleed the same color. So when you cross people in the street that might ask you for money, or maybe don't look like somebody you want to talk to, you got to keep your mind and your heart open, because you don't know where that person's come from. And again, a lot of times you'll be surprised again by what you get from somebody.
Yeah, what you get out of it, right? Of course. Right. Well, same but different. I'm going to remember that. So anyways, thanks for being on the show. If people are interested in learning more about what you're up to, or finding more about Traditional Thai Massage Cleveland, is that how you say it?
TTMCLE, Traditional Thai Massage Cleveland, yeah.
Okay.
I do have a website. I actually didn't build a website till a little over about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, if that reiterates how I've not really advertised and not used technology in that sense.
Right.
But I did have a client say, you really should have something. So I did put something up, but I'm actually, part of buying a new Mac is because I'm reinventing my website.
Oh, all right.
I'm moving it to Squarespace, and I'm going to put
see.
more information, better pictures.
Gotcha.
But
you'll still have the same web address, though, right?
Yeah, it'll still be at ttmcle.com.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Traditional Thai Massage Cleveland. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can also go online and research Thai massage if you're interested in just seeing what it looks like. Tons of videos on YouTube, and that there's so many different styles and forms and techniques and that. So don't look at a lot of different videos just to kind of see how people do things different. Some look a little, whoa, I don't know if I can do that, and some are a little bit more
right.
I guess down to earth. But yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again, man.
Thanks for having me, Jim. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you for listening to Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. If you want to hear more, join our mailing list at jimjimsreinventionrevolution.com. See you next time, and remember, the revolution has just begun. So dig in, embrace the process of reinvention, and start realizing the success you've always dreamed of. Hey, revolutionaries, if you enjoyed today's episode and today's guest, let them know by commenting on their Facebook page, finding their Twitter handle or Instagram feed, and letting them know you heard them on Jim's Reinvention Revolution podcast, and tell them what you got out of the episode, what you really liked, or how they inspired you. I know they would get a kick out of it, and will help others find the same value that you found.